it was just kind of like dumb luck. As they're doing this test, the cameras are rolling, and a light starts moving across the monitor, and it's a guy taking his trash down, and his trash can down from an elevated driveway. And I was not there, but the rest of the people went and talked to him, and he said that morning that he had forgotten to take his trash out, and I was not there, but the rest of the people went and talked to him, and I was not there, but the rest of the people went and talked to him.
To go home. And I would also like to say that if my son could hear it, that we love him so much, and that we are going to keep searching, we are going to keep looking, we are going to find him, and we are going to bring him home.
I've offered and volunteered on many occasions to take a polygraph, and I was told directly by law enforcement, because of my whereabouts, I did not need one. I did not need one.
I understand. Ms. Proudfoot, did you pass your polygraph?
I did.
That everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not.
You in my sight, I keep all the words you said to me. I get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, now you beg me please. Hey.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Happy Sunday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm reading the chat, trying not to laugh here. You guys cracked me up. All right, let me know how I sound in chat. Make sure audio's good. And we'll get to the topics of today's live show. And I promise you, I've got some very interesting stuff, just like I showed on Friday, I think it was. But thank you guys so much for the love and support. Yeah, a lot of green hearts, and yeah, the question, where is Sebastian? Say his name. Sounds good. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much. And Dee, thank you so much for coming in, and modding. God bless you. All right. So one of the things one of the angles I wanted to go back and look at was Fish Sticks interviews. You know, one of the big interviews with Lore Lodge came out on, I believe, January 20th, the beginning of this year. As most of you know that have been following this case, you know, just before that anniversary, leading up to it, and even after, you know, it was just so much stuff coming out. And even though, you know, obviously I'd listened to this interview multiple times, I've never, like, you know, 'cause again, at the time, there was just so much going on, you know, and now that everything's just kind of calmed down, not a lot of going on, I'm like, I need to go back and listen, you know, to what he said, because there is a lot in here, and I'm going to show it. If anybody's a Patreon, I give you guys a highlight of what's to come in the live show. I tried to get a members video out. I do apologize. I will get one out for the members as well. I just kind of got bogged down. But I promise you guys, I've got a great show. We're going to spill some tea, and there is some just mind-boggling stuff in these interviews that you really just got to kind of pay attention to the minute details, and Crispy Fish Sticks' demeanor, because there are some very telling things in this interview. And again, I'm only going to be breaking down a third of the interview right now, so there's so much more that I need to go over, but I promise you I'm going to break down some wild stuff. So please hit that like button and let's get started, guys. And of course, let me just quickly shout out, because of course we have to shout out everybody, especially those that can afford to support this channel. Blessed wife and mom, thank you so much for the membership. And Brenda Davis, welcome. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. God bless you. All right, let's start with the first one, and we're just going to build from there, and then wait till we get to the middle towards the end. I promise you we got some very interesting stuff.
I have a special video for you, as you know, regarding the Sebastian Rogers case that the Crispy and Kit Kat Stinkfeet hired P.I. Shady fish sticks. While going back during his interview, I discovered a ton of absolute lies and deception during this interview, and a few parts where Fish Sticks actually reveals details that will shock you. Part 1, Dumb Luck. Here we're going to...
Okay, so this one, again, it's so crazy because, like I said, I've seen these interviews, and then it was like going back and listen to these, and it came across because, they kind of try to make up an excuse of how these lights are moving around. And holy hell, I missed a huge key detail that he mentions in here. And so let's play this part.
To listen to Fish Sticks talk about how he figured out that the 3M lights allegedly came
dumb
from a guy
luck.
taking out his
Oh,
trash can. Now listen to this
Verbatim.
first part, as he mentions when they were conducting a light test, they noticed something.
Based on what pixels were being used or not, it didn't match up with taillights. So what the AI was telling us is that one of them was just anchored, and the other was...
Okay, so I wanted to put another part into this, but I just didn't get enough time. But I find it so hard. I don't understand what he means by anchor, because you have the two floodlights and then you have two subjects moving. But he makes it sound like one of the subjects is anchored, and he's not talking about the floodlights, and he's just saying that one subject's moving. But we know there's two separate entities moving at different times, but still, in the span of a minute or a little over a minute. So I have no idea what the hell, what's anchored, and if it's the floodlights that are anchored, well, there's two flashlights that are moving around. So again, it just like, anyway. But then let's get to this dumb luck. And then I was like, oh my God, this is what he's talking about. I never even realized this.
Was moving and was very likely a flashlight, which gave us a lot of hope that maybe that was Sebastian. And then it was just kind of like dumb luck. As they're doing this test, the cameras are rolling, and a light starts moving across the monitor, and it's a guy taking his trash down.
So, to give you a little context, what he's talking about, I'm allegedly, but I'm pretty sure I know what he's talking about, is when that Clueless team went out there to do their experiment. They had allegedly seen a guy taking out his trash can with a flashlight. That is what he's talking about. I completely missed that. Now, look how he twists this, and it's mind-boggling. So here's our favorite team, Clueless. I think they got the last part. The first part's right, but it's misspelled at this part here. It's supposed to be Clueless. I keep meaning to tell him, you guys need to fix that. It's misspelled. You guys got it wrong. But anyway, here is their genius attempt at recreating this. Again, taking this very seriously.
Another house in that subdivision, and the light on the right is actually the garage light of 1006 that everybody has misinterpreted. So go to the next one. So this is the still frame from the footage that we took when we went out there trying to recreate this, and you can see where the lights that everybody's used as the original point of reference are actually located.
And, Hooters is catering. Is that enough?
So this is how I feel every time I hear any of them try to describe or what they tried to recreate. But the main thing is, let me get into, this is my feeling every time I just hear them open their mouths.
Should I keep going?
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
So that's my feeling. I love Steve Carell. He's a legend. But yeah, that's how I feel. And we'll get back into that because I cannot believe what they try to do. It's so disgusting, and I can't believe I didn't capture this. But I wanted to add this in for anybody that's kind of newer to the channel to understand. Again, I haven't been able to do it this year, but all the past years we've gone out and helped on cases. For one of those cases, and I bring this up because they just had the anniversary. Some of you may know DeOrr Kunz. It's a pretty popular case, and it's actually just hit its 10-year anniversary. And there's a reason I'm going to bring this case up. One, we actually went out and experimented. I went out with a former detective, Steve. For those that don't know, DeOrr Kunz went missing, I think, July 10th, 10 years ago. So we literally just hit the anniversary. These are the parents. There's the mother. I forget her name. And there's DeOrr Sr. The story is that they went to a campground. There was a couple of others with them. And they went to go look at a fishing spot. And DeOrr was just right behind him. And then halfway as they're going to the fishing spot, which is literally you could throw a rock to it, they had their grandpa, her father, I believe, who was, at the time, elderly person on oxygen, just kind of hanging out, and allegedly was taking a nap. And allegedly DeOrr decided halfway to actually just go back, and then he went missing. Well, we investigated this case.
Weeds and stuff that was in the water. DeOrr yelled.
And we went out there. We spent 3 days, 2 nights.
And I asked him why.
We conducted a bunch of tests. If you're interested, we have a pretty decent theory. I can tell you that he did not wander off. I could say that with about 98% accuracy. That kid did not wander off. The story that the parents told, BS. And I break it down. But there's I wouldn't even say a river. It's a stream, but it's like it's literally dammed up like every 10 to 15 feet. So if he fell in the stream, he would have been caught in the dam, one of these logs. And so we did a test where we threw a vest in the river, or stream, I should say. It's not really a river. And we noticed it just get caught like within no more than 10 feet. As you can see, here's a look at it right there. You can see where either there's beavers that dammed it up or naturals where people are trying to get across to get up. So that literally just cuts one. If you cut it down to 4 quadrants that he went missing, that is one entire quadrant that is just, if he went in, they would have found him. He would have been in there, caught up on something. That's the flat part. They said that they were walking up this direction, and then all of a sudden DeOrr towards us. But anyway, long story short, because again, we're investigating and we took this seriously. We did voice tests. So here's me on the other side of the quadrant. So the campground's kind of across. I did voice tests. So I'm screaming at Steve. He's screaming back just in case, we're trying to see if DeOrr was kind of wandering off, because allegedly they noticed right away that he was allegedly missing. You would think, could he, if they were shouting his name, could you hear it? And yes, this valley echoes because you're like in a bowl area, right? So we conducted all sorts of tests, voice tests. We did height tests.
One car, how many cars? And you saw DeOrr when they went to the store.
And the other two quadrants, so as you guys know, I talked about the quadrants, just kind of break it down into 4 quadrants here. Let me get just one more screenshot. We'll get back into Sebastian, but I promise this come full circle. Let me get a good... Of course, it's not going to go to the one where I want. There's just so much footage. Anyway, let's just do it like this. There's Steve with his pistol in his back. All right. Here is basically 2 halves of the quadrant. So basically half the direction he could have went in. This is heavy sagebrush. If this kid, and he had loose-fitting cowboy boots on, if this kid wandered off into this sagebrush, he ain't getting far. This sagebrush, it like the vines come up and stuff. I was tripping because, I'm 6 foot. I've got 13 size shoe. I'm literally getting tripped up like every other step because the vines like kind of connect to each other. It is just like impossible. There's no way you could just go running through this, right? You'd be hung up. His boots would have been yanked off, and there would have been evidence. And that is literally 2 quadrants of where he could have went missing. Except for a dirt road they would have to go to. That dirt road only leads to one area. So if he did that, again, so basically what I'm trying to say is we took it seriously, right? It's a missing child. We went out there, hoping to get some answers. And we conducted tests. And again, the point I'm trying to get at is we took it seriously.
Not find anything.
So, final thing with this is, guess what? After the search, both parents, they took a bunch of polygraph tests. They failed miserably. Both of them. I don't know. I think 6 to 7 with one of them and 6 with the other. It's pretty close. All of them failed their polygraphs horribly. They also, and this may sound familiar, they also went through 4 PIs. I think they're on their 5th one, and I think most of these PIs aren't even hired by them. I could be wrong on this. I think some of them may have been hired by like the extended family or something. Again, but I think a lot of them just try to come in to help. Again, does that sound familiar? Going through a bunch of PIs. And the other thing, do you think they've been out there ever since he went missing? No, they're gone. They're gone. This happened in Idaho. They both moved out of state. Nothing. 10-year anniversary. Do you see do we see an interview with them? No, I think there was an interview with the PI that Nate Eaton did the other day. But no, they're gone. I'm telling you, I think that kid was there the first night, and then I think he was handed off. I kind of want to think that he was handed off to a family that wanted him. For those that don't know, the mother did have a history with previous children that she gave up her custody to, and I think it was the same thing here. Yeah, such a shame. But do you see a pattern? They're gone. PIs, they went through them, and a BS story that you could tear down. Again, when we did our experiments, there was an interview she did, and we'll get back to Sebastian, but yeah, full of garbage. All right, back to Sebastian. So the reason I bring that up is because we took that seriously. And then to see this joke happen, and I know I pointed this out a million times. I promise you we're going to get to new stuff. But this will come full circle. Again, they had every opportunity to look at the footage, the security footage, and point the camera in the right way. Again, you're getting, clearly they had, access to this driveway. They, which again, it's, could be a once in a lifetime because, I'm sure this family just wants to move on. So they had a chance to actually do something, productive for Sebastian Rogers. But no, they wanted to produce and a narrative, right? And it just disgusts me. So anyway, the reason I will come full circle on this.
The cameras are rolling and a light.
So from what I'm just going to say allegedly, but I'm pretty sure what he's talking about is when they did this alleged test, this ridiculous test that they did. He's saying that, when they went back and looked at the footage, which sounds stupid. I don't know how you wouldn't see a guy. I don't even know how the driveway that they're talking about is not that far away. It's maybe 100 feet plus. I don't know how a lot of you probably have garbage cans that you roll out. They're pretty loud, right? I don't know how you don't hear or see on your camera while you're conducting this test live, a guy bringing down his garbage can, right?
Starts moving across the monitor, and it's a guy taking his trash down and his trash can down from an elevated driveway. And I was not there, but the rest of the people went and talked to him.
So notice what he just did right there. But I wasn't there.
Notice how he says he wasn't there yet. He was told by the team that the neighbor said this. Plausible deniability.
Driveway. And I was not there, but the rest of the people went and talked to him. And he said that morning that he had forgotten to take his trash out, and he had heard the trash trucks and with a flashlight took his garbage can, wheeled it down to the curb. And
bullshit.
Part 2.
Literally turned that, because I never even realized that. I missed that part where he took that story from allegedly them seeing this guy roll out his roll out his garbage can, which that part probably could have been true. But I don't believe that guy. Again, there's some things that I've heard that story got twisted with somebody else.
Apple Watch and heart rate. As you may know that after...
So now, let's get into even some more spicy stuff.
Sebastian had disappeared, that it was not the only thing that was missing in the public eye. Kit Kat was never seen with that Apple Watch again, only wearing bracelets. Allegedly, they downloaded the data from it. And during the interview, Fish Sticks says something, and in my opinion messed up by revealing a key detail that many don't know about.
That he took the trash out, then how does he get out of the house?
Okay, so I want you guys to pay attention here. He's going to go through a couple of main topics, and then notice the one that he lands on at the end. He gets very weird. To
be moved, that would take like a vehicle and stuff, and who could have been involved? Because keep in mind, there's all kinds of digital forensics that so there's cell brights that have been done on there's dash cams, there's of course the video surveillance, there's all these things that we know, her vehicle, onboard computer, so we know where vehicles were and were not, and when they were started and not started, and so then you can kind of limit down, okay, they didn't leave during this necessary time. And also keep in mind that there's other stuff and I don't want to get deep into this, I'm just going to give you a general thing, but I mean, like Apple Watches and stuff that show people so
you notice how he acted like that?
We can tell, just like you can tell what people may have done by those devices, you can tell what they didn't do either, like if they're asleep or whatnot, and still registering heartbeats and stuff,
Yeah, I don't wear my Apple Watch to sleep partially.
Notice how when Fish Sticks begins to mention the Apple Watch topic, he literally has a smile, like Duper's delight, as he is talking about the watch. He even goes out of his way to mention how he can't talk about it.
So he just got done mentioning, I think he kind of mixes 3 of the 4 topics. But either way, he mentions all these, and it is a word salad. But notice, he's kind of just free-flowing through all these, not a big deal. Then when he starts to think about the Apple Watch, notice how he just clams up. Look at the Duper's delight on this face.
But then notice what he mentions at the end, heart rates.
They didn't leave during necessary time. And, also keep in mind that there's other stuff like, and I don't want to get deep into this. I'm just going to give you a general thing. But I mean, like Apple Watches and stuff that show people, we can tell, just like you can tell what people may have done by those devices, you can tell what they didn't do either, like if they're asleep or whatnot. And
right.
And heart rates. Man, I kind of paused that at a interesting time. That's on accident. I'll just leave that up for a second. Let you guys chew on that for a minute. Thank you so much, Jen, for gifting a Mob Crew membership. That is so sweet. If you do by chance get gifted, if you could thank that person, that is so awesome. Thank you so much. Let me just get to everybody because it's just a weird spot to pause at. So weird. Lady for Justice, thank you so much, sweetheart, for the $1 super chat. God bless you. Heather whatever says thank you for not forgetting the missing. God bless. Thank you so much for the 13 months. That is so awesome. I appreciate the support. You guys are amazing. I would be nothing without you guys, literally. But yeah, it's such a weird time. Almost. Oops. I just got to pause it there for a minute. Let my hands. Yes. That's all I'm going to say is yes. Yes. The data that they pulled off that Apple Watch that he talks about. And I have another interview that I got to find, but yeah. There it is. I don't know. It's just, again, it's kind of accidental that I got that time, but again, no coincidence at all. Okay. You guys got that? All right.
Still registering heartbeats and stuff,
Yeah.
Didn't do either, like if they're asleep or whatnot. And
right.
Still registering heartbeats and stuff,
So again, I got to be kind of vague, but yeah. Just think about that. And the team that knows what's allegedly on that data. And they have chosen to not expose it. For those that missed my show on Friday, I talked about how remember almost all the channels were all against, Crispy and Kit Kat. And then there was kind of a split somewhere in, I think, like August or something like that. And then from there on, there was the two sides. But we know a certain team has been out there with fish sticks. And I know they've came across some shady shit. But they have allegedly, in my opinion, turned their backs because, again, if you missed what I talked about on Friday, it's all about politics. And I make this example. Could you imagine if tomorrow I go live and I flip the script and I just start throwing shade at Seth and say, oh, I believe Crispy and Kit Kat. You guys think I'm going to gain subscribers? Are they going to stay the same? Or do you think I'm going to lose a lot of subscribers? That is exactly because they have their community on that other side. And they're not, unless they had a soul, they're not going to, jump ship. They've been building, because you get a bunch of channels like me and Justin Verse, we kind of have a similar audience, obviously, with Sebastian Rogers. And so you have other channels that, they've, same thing, feed off each other and they build, it's always been, it's kind of part of social media. And yeah. But again, I have to be able to sleep at night, right? There's no way in hell. If I came across some of the information that I've heard that they have, there's no way in hell. I ain't coming out the next day and going, F this, No way. I've got to sleep at night, right? You know. Jazz says, thank you for all you do, Chris, for the missing. Thank you so much. I wish I could have been out there searching for Aiden this year. It really bugs the hell out of me. That's the case I'd like to finish, but we've got so much more. Trust me, we're just starting. We're just sparking it right now. Lisa says, let me read this. You're so cute when you do that, Mob Crew. How's your heart rate tonight? 3 o'clock. Yeah. There you go. Let me heart that one right there. Great comment. Huh. Glad people,
Part 3, the 1-year anniversary.
All right. I promise you, this is going to get a lot, like I said.
Fish Sticks is asked about potential footage of Sebastian seen on any cameras. Here he talks about having something and trying to play it off as a potential mind-blowing lead. But I'm going to expose that they knew it was a nothing burger from the very start.
It's hard because I go back and forth. I don't think that he's caught on that camera at all, but I do. In the last week, I do believe that they have something of him. Listen, I'll be honest with you. We have something from after midnight of a person we can't identify. I don't know if it's him. I'm not starting to remember, but so.
Now, I know I've covered this before because this is one of the most scummiest things, I don't know. There's a list, and I don't know what's at the top. This one I think is pretty much at the top because now I'm going to explain, because I know I've gone over this, but I'm going to explain it a little in a more finer detail, just in case anybody may not be familiar how these cameras work and how they save onto, the cloud or, in these folders. And I'm going to show you something that just, again, and then we'll get him. Trust me, we're just getting
I think they might be in the same situation where there might be other cameras that we don't know about.
So remember, he's had this footage for God knows months and months, right? Now, I understand if he got a bunch of footage, it would take time to get to that one, but he clearly showed his hand way before this interview, because remember, there's one where I don't know if it's, I don't want to be calling channels out, but a particular channel I think he's on, and is where he's trying to throw a certain neighbor under the bus with their children, and he's literally talking about this same clip, right? But I'm going to show you something under a different light.
Can I ask, is this the so-called flashlights video, or is this something else?
This is something else.
Okay, so is it just an unidentified person walking past or through the property?
It's a person but because they're wearing very dark clothing and because the light, it looks like.
This is the footage Fish Sticks is talking about. It is what they waited months before releasing it on the 1-year anniversary, so the Stink Feet could play the card of, we are searching and we hired help and look at what we found. But we all know it was a nothing burger, causing law enforcement to comment by immediately saying no, it is not him. The reason I get so upset at what Fish Sticks did is because I have some of the same folders and files he does, and what the public may not know is that.
So here's me kind of showing. It'd probably be better if I was doing it like down, but you guys get the idea.
That each time there is movement, it saves the clip in a folder, and then when you have another event triggered by motion, it does the same thing, and everything is placed in order of events, as seen in this example. So with that clip that they tried to pass off as Sebastian Rogers, the folder just above or before that one.
So you would have a folder either below or to the right, just kind of depending on how your setup is, right? But either the one that's next to it or before it or above it, right? Basically the file before it, obviously it's going in chronological order, right? So the footage that it released, remember on the 1-year anniversary of, this guy that you can barely see, that's clearly the guy walking his dog. Well, guess what? There's a folder just behind that, because remember, this camera does record full time, 24/7, but it also has a separate folder where it's collecting events, right? Chronologically. He knows this, right? This is no dummy, right? Although, I don't know. That's debatable. I don't know. Or just has no soul. Maybe it's probably that.
Had this event on it.
So if I were to go back, so I go to that folder, right? That has, the one that they released to the news, right? And then I just go one folder back. Well, let's see what's in that folder, right? So the one that they showed, I think it's like, I forget the exact time. It's like 12:13, something like that. Something around in there, maybe 12:10, somewhere around there. Just after midnight, right? This is the folder behind it. Yes, this is the house that is literally turning on its light almost 400 feet away from the camera, and it is the guy coming out to take his dog.
Yes, this is literally the neighbor seen just after midnight walking out of his house and beginning to walk his dog, first down Devon, which created this event and folder. Then the next...
So obviously once he then went up Devon, the event would end because there's no more movement until obviously he does his round around Devitt Court and then comes down Kellen, which then activates the next event. He knew months ago. So if he knew, who do you think else knew? They all knew what this was way back when.
Next event within a minute or two later shows this event.
If you couldn't put that together, you should not be a PI. You should not be a PI. But we know that this was some of the shadiest, disgusting, disturbing. The words,
and the stink.
You name it.
Knew this months before the anniversary.
They knew it.
And still tried to pass this off as a potential big break in the case. Again, this was so dirty and disturbing that only con artists, or worse, would try to pull such a disgusting attempt to fool the public.
Look at this. Do you guys remember this? On the, I think it was just before the anniversary, or I think it was like 1 or 2 days before the anniversary. Because I think he was mad because he'd sent the stuff in. He wanted it to come out on the anniversary, but I think it came out 1 or 2 days early. You guys remember that? And it made him so mad because, of course, law enforcement had to come out and make a statement going, "You effing idiot. No, we already know this isn't Sebastian." And, of course, I'm sure they probably wanted to add in. And you know that, too, because all you had to do is look in the folder right before it, which shows the guy coming out of his house. So you know who it is, and you tried to play this off as being Sebastian. Just think about this. I know I brought this up many times, but think about this. This family knew this. This isn't normal for parents that are innocent, allegedly. This is beyond disturbing, disgusting, you name it. It is so foul. So foul. Look at this title. Private Investigator says new video could be big break in the Sebastian Rogers case. There's a couple of them like that. Absolutely disgusting. I promise you, I got more stuff. I know we've kind of touched on this, and I hate to rehash stuff, but I kind of wanted to show that under a different light.
Because and I sat down with them for like 2 hours. What they said was that TBI, their footage was set to overwrite after 10 days, and nobody had come and collected their footage. They're right.
Thanks for all you do, Chris, for the missing. Thank you, Jazz. I don't know, I might have caught that one. I did get these ones. I'm sorry. Little Miss Sherry, thank you so much for the super chat. God bless. And we got B in Florida becoming a member. Thank you so much, Florida. God bless. Okay. All right. Now we've got some new stuff here. So I want you to listen to this. This just shows, okay, let me play the clip and then let me just let's stew in this for a minute.
Because, and I sat down with them for like 2 hours. What they said was that TBI, their footage was set to overwrite after 10 days, and nobody had come and collected their footage. They're right across the street. They're right across the street.
So he's talking about the camera that is literally facing the home. The most important camera you would start with to get the information and footage. The one that is facing the front of the home.
I mean, by far away, the most important camera there is, by far. And they had like come and seen a couple things, but they had not taken the footage. And so they went to the command center. The husband did, and he said, "Listen, take this footage, like it's going to overwrite tonight." You know.
So if this is true, which I, with the very little bit that I would ever believe of fish sticks, I think this would be one of the few times that, yeah, he's telling the truth. But just imagine that. The incompetence. The most important camera, and the family had to go to the command center before it got overridden. What the how? How?
So they finally did take it, but they also didn't. They don't have the raw footage back. So they gave me what they have, and it's a lot, and it has all the because there's, even though it's continuous rolling, it does also pick up, have detections like with the tracking and stuff like that. So anytime a car comes in up and down that road, it picks it up. Anytime their lights at the Providence turn on, if they come, anybody comes in and out of the driveway at their place, whatever it may be, those are detected. And so I have that, and there's also a house behind.
Right. So just to clarify,
they have all the masters.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And can you see the front of the Proudfoot's property, like the front door?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So
SO says, why haven't they lightened up the Uber video, that whole corner video? All there is with that, with the Uber, like if you're just talking straight up the Uber guy, he just comes and he picks up the residents and leaves. There's nothing else on that. I've checked it. Obviously, if there was something important, I promise you, I would release something. You guys know me. But no, that whole incident that obviously happens half hour after I think everything took place, there's nothing fishy in my opinion.
What you've seen,
So I want you to listen to this because he's asking him, what can you see in this camera? Because all we've got is one screenshot, and I'll point something out here in a minute.
Is there any point at which anybody appears to enter or exit the home from the footage you've seen?
Well, yeah, I mean, keep in mind, it's footage from over a couple days, so yeah, definitely.
Okay, what the hell, fish sticks? Let me back that up one more time. Look at what he does here with the question. It's clear what we're talking about. We're talking about that night he goes missing, right?
Enter or exit the home.
Oh, let me
from
back
the
this
footage
up just a little bit.
So, from what you've seen, is there any point at which anybody appears to enter or exit the home from the footage you've seen?
Well, yeah, I mean, keep in mind, it's footage from over a couple days, so.
Oh my God, fish sticks! Come on, why do we care about what happened 2 nights prior, even the night prior? I mean, I guess if you want to go fully investigate, but that we know where he's asked about this night. Is there anything on here?
But yeah, definitely.
Well, I guess the night in question then.
That night, no. Well, they arrived home, and so I will say the one, like I said, they went through and they checked all their footage and they took out.
Okay. Now he's going to do Duper's Delight again. This is the one thing that I want to be pointing out. Now I've got more. We'll do another. I promise you, I've got a lot more. Trust me. Wait until we get to the end. I've got a big thing that I'm like. It's one of those things. I'm like, holy shit! Here's another thing that is just glaring. And it's actually going to cause me to actually go out. I don't know if I could do it tonight. Maybe I could go out and do it tonight. I don't know. I'd like to try to do it with, we'll get there. It's literally going to cause me to do a control test. But okay, I don't want to get sidetracked. But I promise you it's big.
What they saw, and they captured what they saw. But what they didn't get, and what they admit that they must have just missed, is when they heard that there was footage of Sebastian taking the trash out, the trash can out. My own sanity, like, did you really see Sebastian on that footage or not? And they told him absolutely. And so I believe them. I don't think they're and.
So of course, as you guys remember, he's kind of deflecting. Yeah, he's deflecting. Yeah, he's. Although it is important to know if that it was Sebastian, because I know there's some people that think that he just never made it home. I personally do, but again, I wouldn't put it past him. There's always a possibility. Clearly, he's never caught on any cameras, but I think with the dash cam, it shows him going all the way home. That is until I actually see it or we see it, but I've trusted sources tell me that is true. He made it home that night.
Keep in mind, Seth and everybody has said that they agree. So, yeah. But I have not seen that. Just to be clear, I've not seen him taking the trash can out. There was some I can see, which is important to me, and I'm not going to get into the exact. There's going to be some things I can't say. I'm just.
Yeah. Why? If you saw something moving, why mention that, right? Let's wait until it's like 10 years, until when nobody, cares. And, if someone did abduct him while he was running off, why? I
can tell you front, but can't give out all the details for the integrity of the investigation. But, there's times when you see, the lights.
Okay. This is important. Listen to this. Very, 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 this is huge. And we know that this is true. And I just could not find, I know I have it, but Sweetie Pilo and how she talked with this neighbor that has this footage, and she got timestamps. And remember, she said, okay, the light's on at this time, and then the light goes out, and then I think she said the light, lights on once, lights off. I forget all the exact times and everything. I wish I would have had this. This is very important because what he is talking about and what she's talking about is these are triggered events. Keep that in mind.
Go off or on or and whatnot.
Let me just back this up just a little bit.
Trash can out. There was some I can see, which is important to me, and I'm not going to get into the exact. There's going to be some things I can't say. I'm just going to tell you up front, but can't give out all the details for the integrity of the investigation. But there's times when you see, the lights go off or on or.
That is so huge. He's literally saying there are events. That means the motion detection is getting triggered. It's because he doesn't have the 24/7 footage of this. He only got the family, sent everything to TBI or whatever, the idiots working on the case that don't give two shits about Sebastian, and nearly let this most important footage just disappear. Holy hell. What is wrong with these people? How are they detectives? I just cannot fathom. My God, have mercy on Sebastian Rogers. Holy crap. So anyway, he's literally saying that these are timed events. And remember, God, and like I said, I wish I could get the Sweetie Pilo interview where she's literally has the timestamps. These timestamps are like spot on because that is literally the triggered times. And it's just getting triggered by the lights turned on from the front room or Sebastian. Think about that. Just think about that for a second. Lights from the house across the street that we are focused on, when they get turned on, it is getting triggered. This is huge. And this is even the biggest thing. I mean, it's big. But I got even something other that I don't think anybody's ever mentioned before.
and whatnot. So that's all detectable. It's a very clear shot of the house, off or
Thank you,
on, or
Kiki.
and whatnot. So that's all detectable. It's a very clear shot of the house.
So think about that. That it is only it's 140 feet approximately away from the door ring camera to the front, and it is getting triggered by lights being turned on. So let me give you an example. So just think about this for a second, right? At just only 140 feet away, this camera is getting set off every time a very, very dim light across the street is getting turned on, right? 140 feet. Okay. And she's got actually a decent ring camera. I don't know the exact model, but based off what Fish Sticks was talking about, it sounds like at the very least, I'm not going to say, it's some super high end, newest, but she clearly had a decent ring camera. Now think about this. Back to this one, right? This is an event. This is the event that obviously is before the event that they tried to pass off for the 1 year anniversary. Guess what triggers this? And you just saw it. And that's a much brighter light, but that's nearly 400 feet away. So just kind of give you an idea of what just minute and how far away things can trigger these cameras. These cameras are getting so good and only better now that they're, got night vision, night mode, infrared, or not infrared. 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 These different modes depending on, day, night. If there's light, then it kind of switches modes. I mean, these cameras are amazing. Thank you, Lisa, so much. You're going to get some. Miranda, good to see you. Thank you so much for the 15 months, sweetheart. Okay. And I just want to catch up. Yeah, he is full of doo-doo. Cooper, keep up the good work, Chris and mods. Thank you. Yes, thank you to D, Jennifer. I know it's on the weekend, and so I appreciate my wonderful mods. They take great care of me.
But so what I'm hearing though is that
so there's more, but again, just keep that in your back pocket and think about just that minute thing of the lights getting triggered across the street from inside their home. And remember, they've got those like blinds that are like basically more or less closed. But yet they're still getting those just even by turning it off and on. That is triggering this camera. So it's giving us an idea that this isn't just, some cheap ring camera that they got off Temu, right? This is a serious camera. And when they have the 24/7 record plus the motion, it is at least a higher tier ring camera. Again, I'm not going to try to play it off like they have, the latest generation, but clearly they had something decent. Sweetsy, thank you so much. I love the name. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. You are amazing. God bless you. All right.
At the very least, the TBI should have an angle on the entrances and exits of the home for the full 100%. The full night.
They do. Yes. And they have the back of the house too.
Got it. So that's incredibly interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like any question about somebody entering or exiting the home.
So here's what most of us would be thinking, right? He just said, yeah, you got a camera that's basically getting triggered every other moment that anything happens. Oh, well, yeah, by the way, you've got another camera that is just as good, if not better, facing the backyard, almost covering this house. Almost, I wouldn't say 360. I would say it's covering 3 of the 4 sides. I think there is a blind spot, and we're going to get into that. But, yes, they're basically saying, well, gosh, this house is covered.
Yeah, it
should be
the TBI knows.
Answered by that Yeah.
Oh, 100%. No, they have all that for sure. Now, I will say too that just because they have the footage that would show the front door does not mean that with the lights off in the house that you would see the front door open. It is incredibly dark.
Look, okay, look at this. Look at this. I know, I agree. Trust me, he gets me worked up more than anything. Believe me. You had to sell your soul to the devil to do what you did for the anniversary. You are scum of the scum. Again, it just breaks my heart because I know he goes out and searches for people, but that just tells me he's just doing it for the money. He's just in it for the money. He seems like a narcissist as well, again, allegedly. And he's just, I think he does. I don't think he's a dummy. I have to be careful what I say, because I really want to say some really bad things, really, really bad things. Because again, you just got to have no soul. But I really think, he's found a niche and he knows he can make a lot of money, and that's what he does. So again, I don't care how many people he's found, he's scum. There's no coming back from, unless you made an apology and you come forward with all the stuff that you discovered, because I know he found some shady shit. There'll be a day. Well, that tea party will happen. Now look at his face. Oh my God, look at his face here. Look at the duper's delight. Trust me, he knows he's full of shit right now. So keep that in mind.
And they have the back of the house too.
Got it. So that's incredibly interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like any question about somebody entering or exiting the home,
it
should be
the TBI
knows. Answered by that. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. No, they have all that for sure. Now, I will say too that just because they have the footage that would show the front door does not mean that.
Look at his face. It's almost like he's enjoying this. I'd be disturbed. What the seriously, what the I need a beeping word. I need to pull up Steve Carell right now, because look at that face.
With the lights off in the house that you would see the front door open. It is incredibly dark in that neighborhood.
This is not a night vision camera.
No.
Got it.
No. That with the lights off in the house that you would see the front door open. It is incredibly dark in that neighborhood.
This is not a night vision camera.
No.
Got it.
No.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Full of shit.
Well, it's set to auto. It was set to auto.
So here he goes into talking about, this camera is actually pretty nice. This is why I'm like, it's got an auto mode, so it'll kind of depend on the lighting, because I've seen it with some of these other, this is a nice neighborhood. So most of these people have some really good surveillance, and a lot of them have there's different modes, like nighttime mode, infrared, just kind of depending on the light, and of course the camera, there's so many variables. But he basically admits this is a decent camera, and again, he just admitted a bit ago that it's getting triggered constantly, whenever something happens across the street. So keep that in mind. And I promise you, I'm going to drop the bombshell at the end here. Again, all this is, in my opinion, just like, are you listening to yourself, right? Like, do you understand, why there's a lot of us, he's not a ninja, right? He didn't go out there crawling on all fours as if he knew where all these cameras were, when most of the neighborhood had no idea Sebastian Rogers was living there, right? Not to say he didn't go out and play in that neighborhood, but I've got many sources, most of them had no idea who he was until after this all happened.
Mode. So it wasn't detecting. So what it's set up for their front porch. Okay. And they have lights, like planter lights on their porch. I'm talking about the house across, it's shooting from. So it's lighting for that. It's not caring really about the Proudfoot's home. Right. And so.
Yes, ma'am. We don't typically turn the floodlights on.
Were there any lights outside the house on at all?
Just my little solar lights that we have in the garden.
So unless they have like in the garden, I don't know why the hell she'd be talking about her backyard. Again, I know a lot of people would probably have their gardens in the backyard. I do wonder if she's trying to be a little deceptive here, because a lot of people have solar lights. I mean, if you go down that neighborhood, we know that a lot of them have solar lights in their front. This is very important because, as I mentioned before, all it takes is anybody to cross anything of a light source. That motion sensor is going to get detected, whatever camera's facing it. So if she had solar lights in the front, she does in the garden, which, again, I don't know, maybe she is trying to be deceitful, but maybe there is solar lights in the front yard. Again, I'm sure if they did, they would have probably yanked those out right after this event. Guaranteed. I'm sorry, I know I'm getting a lot of questions. Did some compare some neighbor's house with the white building on Reddit, and then SF pic you had last night? Has the building been moved to a different area? No. I think I know what you're talking about. Like the garage, no. I think I know what you're talking about. If we get a chance, if we can cross that bridge. But no, as far as I know. If we can, please hit that like button. It'll get this attention out here, expose these frauds. I promise you I've got something we're building up here.
There's two lights on the side of the house above the garage that are on at all times.
Oh, yeah, those are on.
Oh, gosh, yes, those big floodlights. I completely forgot, when I was pulling into the driveway, because, when we left Texas Roadhouse, it was already nighttime. So when we, came home, I'm pretty sure those floodlights, if they weren't on already, they probably got switched on by her. So either they're automatic, but they said they're not automatic. So that means she had to turn them on.
Oh, there's a light above the garage. It's on at all times?
There's two. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So those lights were on?
Yes, ma'am.
We tested this.
Okay. Now this is where I'm going to tear again. Oh God. Okay, guys. Ugh. Where's Steve Carell when I need him? I need to get that as like a soundboard. I got to get that soundboard for Steve Carell. Okay, listen to this, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they didn't do.
The family there was nice enough to let us into their house and overtake their system and run tests and stuff. And we just had people walking out, and the FBI did this as well too, just so you guys know. But just walk out of the house and see if we could detect it on the monitor at all, and we couldn't. It's that dark in the neighborhood.
Got it.
Okay, so remember how if you've been here from the beginning, how I told you, the clowns that went out and did the 3 a.m. light test and completely did not take it seriously at all because they don't give a shit. And now here they have another probably once in a life chance opportunity to actually take it seriously and conduct some real tests. And let me just back this up a little bit. So if you don't know what he's talking about, he said that he was allowed to enter this home, from our point of view, the neighbor that's facing the Rogers home that had this surveillance, and that they were able to use that surveillance to then go across the street and then try to replicate by coming out the front door of the Rogers home. And, they don't get into specifics, but try to recreate and to see if, does the camera get set off, or were they able to pull off where you can't see anybody walking. So let me play this again, and then let me tell you what I guarantee you they did not do. I can guarantee it. And I'm going to get so upset.
I did this as well, too, just so you guys know. But just walk out of the house and see if we could detect it on the monitor at all. And we couldn't. It's that dark in the neighborhood.
Go F yourself.
So, I guess then you'd, to be 100% sure, it sounds like, from what you're saying. And I wish, I mean, would you be able to release any of that footage, any of those tests?
No. We know I'm going to play this and then...
Just to put people's minds at ease about it, be like, no, really, you can't tell. Like, even if it's just a quick video of somebody walking out of home.
Listen, I would have to ask, and I'll just be honest.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why they ain't going to release it. Probably one, they probably didn't do the right conditions. Two, I guarantee we would be able to break it down in like 20 different ways saying, oh, look, they don't have the floodlights on, or look, they don't have the solar lights where the solar lights should be. Did you guys at least try to replicate that it's, it was a full moon outside, so it was a little bit lighter than usual, so it was a little bit brighter, even though, it is a dark neighborhood. It was a full moon. Did you think about that? Did you try to at least replicate the same environment that Sebastian went missing in? Absolutely not. That is why they'll never release that. And then there's even something bigger than that. I can guarantee that they never even thought of. And if I could just, where's Carell when I need him?
Because the way that the people have just trampled over the prophets, they don't owe anybody any favors, and in this, and they don't care about like winning anybody's. At this point, they truly only, whether people believe it or not, they just want Sebastian found. And so I don't think they're going to give anybody any favors like that. I'll ask, but I wouldn't count on it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would just put it this way, that, there's a lot of people out there from what.
Just think about that. If what they're saying is true, right? Let's just say if they did conduct these tests, which again you would do this multiple times, you would try to wear some different clothing each time. Obviously, because we technically don't know. Let's just say in theory he did walk out, but we don't know which time. So you would want to conduct a test. You'd probably want to do at least 3 to 5 runs at, midnight, and I guess I got to be realistic here. They wouldn't, but at least, you'd have a few hours to do this where you would try to do multiple runs, because that's how you do proper control tests. You don't just, I'm going to come out one time and I'm going to probably army crawl down, did they get a kid? How much did they actually try to recreate to the same event that night happened, right?
I can tell the majority of people are looking at them as suspects. Something like that,
they would.
At the very least, would put people's minds at ease that they're not hiding something here. That, you really, if you look at that footage, you really can't see anybody coming out of that house, whether somebody is or not. I think that would probably help a lot of people to maybe get past another reason that they're suspicious.
Yeah, and I get that, but I also see it from their end. But I will say, I know that I saw interview or two, I think, where with Seth's old PIs, where he had multiple PIs, and they said too that they were aware that the FBI had run these same tests, and in fact, the FBI test wasn't just for that camera, but it was to see if any of the cameras would detect him if he walked a certain route. And in fact, I know when some of the PIs like.
Well, I think he means TBI. I mean, maybe the FBI did it. I don't know. I don't want to, because it's weird. Because here in a minute he's going to say TBI, so I almost wonder if he means TBI. Again, I could be wrong. But I promise you, there's one thing I guarantee this team didn't think of.
Like watching on when that was happening. So, I mean, I'll ask, but I can't, there's got to be some faith in the fact that.
Yes, let's just take it on faith. Yes, you guys, after seeing the genius work that you guys did with the 3M lights recreation, I mean, chef's kiss. You guys nailed it, right? I mean, just absolutely nailed it, right? Got that little selfie stick up there and closed your eyes and said, okay, Okay, we're good. All right. Oh, it's solar lights over there. Where we pointed the camera. Morons.
The fact that FBI TBI, and I think they've probably sent this footage. I'm sure they've sent this footage to the FBI crime lab, which any agency is allowed to use for enhancement. And I think because it's an Amber Alert, if there was an image of him, I think they would have released something. I could be wrong. Strategy.
So here at the end here, he's trying to, again, it's the word salad where he's like, he doesn't want to commit to saying, yeah, there's nothing on cameras. Because he knows there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no motion.
I'm sure they've sent this footage to the FBI crime lab, which any agency is allowed to use for enhancement. And I think because it's an Amber Alert, if there was an image of him, I think they would have released something. I could be wrong, strategy wise, but I just don't think.
There's the Duper's Delight.
Let me back that up.
Look, see, here comes the Duper's Delight again. What the F? Does this guy take anything seriously? I mean, I know you can't be out all worked up and serious the entire time, and you got to kind of relax, but how come when he starts talking about something that's really meaningful, he starts to backtrack, and then you get this Duper's Delight?
I think because it's an Amber Alert, if there was an image of him, I think they would have released something.
Right, yes. 100% agree. The very little that I would with this jerk, 100% agree. Now here comes the Duper's Delight, because he now knows, like, oh shit, I got clients that are paying me good money, yet I'm going to shame everybody else that's trying to, make money because,
You'd be wrong.
That makes so much sense.
Strategy wise, but I just don't think, well, let me back that up. From that camera, it's hard because I go back and forth. I don't think that he's caught on that camera at all.
Boom.
But I do.
Holy shit! It just came right out of his mouth. See, he can't help but it's kind of like Crispy Stinkfoot, where there's kind of some truth. I think they just can't help. But Duper's Delight. Notice this is a thing. Like, again, and I'm not even going through the entire interview because obviously, I'd have to go slam my head into some concrete if I had to deal with him for more than an hour. We're taking little bits and pieces of him at a time, so we can swallow and adjust here.
In the last week, I do believe that they have something of him. Listen, I'll be honest with you. We have something.
And then at the end, after just saying that camera, the main camera, which the family until the 1 year anniversary, when they're like, oh gosh, we better not keep saying we think he just ran away and that's the only scenario, because that's not what, the innocent family do. They entertain any idea. I've explained that so many times, working with Candace Cooley and Amy Clune. They're always entertaining new theories and ideas. They're not, set down on one thing. I mean, yeah, they'll be probably, more leaning towards one thing, but they're always open to stuff, right? And I'll get to chat here in just 1 second. Well, okay, I got a big thing, and I promise you guys, this is very big, and I can't believe I didn't even think about this. It's just another thing that just, you have to kind of start fresh and look at different avenues, and there's something that is going to slap us right in the face, right? And I can't wait to show you guys. It's coming up. K9, good to see you, sweetheart. I replied to your message on Twitter. I'm so sorry. Again, as a lot of you know, my stomach issues. I've been out, and I appreciate you offering to help Amy Clune, and I know that mean the world to her. Just unfortunately, I just couldn't. I was out, and I know that's already happened now. But if something does, I'll try to keep in touch. But how about those electric canines? Ooh, I like the sound of that. But thank you, K9. God bless you, and I hope you're doing well. What is the light to the left of the garage? Is that the Feet's floodlight? Yes. This giant light, these two giant lights, are the floodlights to the garage. And we'll get into that here in just a minute as well. Thank you so much, Groma. Okay. Here we go, guys. So let me just leave that up for a minute. If you guys can, please, while we take a chance, please hit that like button. So I want you guys to take this in for a minute. If you guys don't remember, the pants that Sebastian allegedly went missing in, and they're pretty darn sure, they're Adidas-style sweatpants with the stripes on the side. Anybody ever worn those at night? Ever seen what those look like? Ever seen when you have lights, when it's kind of darker and you have different lights and you walk around with those, or you see someone walking around with those? You might as well be wearing a reflective vest when you walk out of that house. You're trying to tell me that this kid walked out, got past God knows how many cameras, with reflective white striped sweatpants. Please tell me where that makes sense in the modern world. My God, these people, do you think Fish Stick's team ever thought about pulling out the Adidas pants and walking out there? I can bet your ass he did not think about that. Of course, because they didn't take this shit seriously. None of them did. None of that team took any of this stuff seriously. They don't care about Sebastian. They cared about the money. Shame on them. They have no soul. And there will be a day where I will expose those criminals. Just think about that. He might as well be walking out with Christmas lights on him. Any kind of light that is pointed his way and he's walking around, that thing... These people are a joke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pair and I'm going to go... I won't be out of time tonight, and I'll probably have to do it. I don't know. Maybe I'll get out tonight. I'd have to charge up my cameras. But I'm going to do it probably Wednesday is when I'll have it ready. And I'll release it for the members' Patreon, and then for like Tuesday and then Wednesday. I'm going to go out in complete darkness. I'm going to be 140 feet away. Obviously, I'll test it. And of course, I'll take it seriously, unlike these clowns. And I'll set up multiple different cameras. We'll go complete dark, do it 100 feet, do it 150 feet. Then I'll set up maybe some solar lights that are, kind of off into the distance to kind of replicate it and just see what it would look like. And if you can see me walking around. And we'll post those results. But I'm pretty sure I have an idea of what those results will be. Again, it's not just the reflective, but the fact that you have light sources. Again, you don't need a spotlight on those pants. If you have any kind of light sources, you're walking around that, you are going to be lit up. And again, I don't know how I missed this. But here is somebody I'm going to show. Just and I'm trying to find some footage of some people walking with Adidas pants or shorts. Well, actually, pants would probably be better. thing. But yeah, I am going to go and do some tests. But here, it was hard. This was last minute because it's just, again, as I'm going through this case, it just hits me. And then I'm like, oh God, he was wearing Adidas. And remember, they've made it very clear multiple times on different interviews, the kind of pants, because, I know there's an interview he's wearing, look at those. Again, I know you got kind of different styles, but they reflect. Stirring chills. I love it, Sandra. I can guarantee you those clowns did not test anybody walking out with Adidas pants. I probably don't think if it was the TBI, considering that TBI in Sumner County, they literally almost let this footage just...
Should have an angle on the entrances.
End up in the ether. Just shows you the incompetence. But yeah, I'm going to... We'll do some tests. I'll probably have to do it like Monday night. But I'll post it because I've done, if you guys been with me a while, I've done different tests for this case. Because again, I take it seriously. Sebastian means a lot to me, and seeing how much Seth is just torn up, it kills me. It absolutely kills me. All right, so final part. This is going a little bit longer than I thought it would. So I got my last. I have another argument. It's another big one. So I'll probably save it for Monday because, again, there's another. We're looking at this at one dimension, right? There's just, I don't know if that's the right terminology. With the cameras, it's kind of like 2D, two-dimensional. We're looking at, but there's another dimension that another level that we still haven't even touched on really. And I promise you, that's a whole nother thing. I promise you guys, I am going to deliver for you guys. So let's bring out the last argument, right? So let's just think about this. If he got out, he has basically, we'll just call them 4 quadrants, right? 4 corners of the home, right? There you could go, more or less, right? Well, we know
the home for the full night.
They do. And they have the back of the house too.
Got it.
I could say, in my opinion, with about 98% certainty, there's no way he's going up out of the 2 north quadrants. There's no way. In my opinion. You have 2 cameras. Not only do you have 2 cameras facing, covering that side of the house, the north side. But... Sorry, I thought this went a little bit quicker. My bad. So there's the cameras with the yellow. Oops. Okay, here we go. But remember, you have the 2 floodlights off the garage. So if he somehow comes out that one back door here, or he comes out through the backyard and tries to cut over, he's going to cut through this light, this floodlight, and even more so, this big giant... porch light, I'm assuming, and he's going to set off the motion sensor, probably on both cameras. There's no way in hell none of them don't capture that. There's no way. Or he comes out in front, and then of course, again, it would just be even 10 times worse because he's just going right in front of the giant flood lights off the garage, and he's wearing reflective white stripes on his pants. There's no way he is going that way without looking like a Christmas tree sticks walking north. There's no way. Now let's look at the other 2 quadrants. Sorry, I have this slow down. So again, there's just absolutely no way. So you can see where the floodlights hit the ground here, and then this giant square, for anybody that, I apologize if you're on cell phone. We are zooming in. That is So the house, this is the Proudfoot backyard right here, and then this is the edge of the Proudfoot home, Stinkfoot home. And then this light is actually across the street, but their porch is clearly so bright, so lit up, that you can actually see the tree here. It's somehow kind of cut off there. It does look like a person, but it's not. It's a tree, I promise. There's just no way in hell somebody's walking across, and that is not captured on both cameras. There's no way in hell. No way in hell. Okay. So now we're left with the other two quadrants, right? So if it comes out south west, again, depending on the solar, if she has solar lights in the garden or not. Again, a kid wearing a reflective white pants. There's other lighting around this neighborhood. I think there is a small possibility, a very small one. But in my opinion, I don't think so. I think it's, because again, if he did go out that way, we would know. We would know. Right? Then we have the southeast quadrant, which out of all 4 quadrants, the one that has the blind spot. And what are the odds that at 3 a.m., shortly after, there are flashlights literally moving in this direction just beyond the blind spot? And yes, I can't believe I have to look at this clown. I am, and again, I've got a new fire lit under my keister, and because I've reached out to some other contacts and some old contacts, and we're trying to work some things behind the scenes, see if I can get some stuff. No guarantees, but this is where I've learned some more information that I've been sharing with you guys, and again, I'm learning much more about this shady team and what they have done and what I know that they have learned and literally have turned their backs. Because again, it's all about politics. They're not going to flip, right? Because then they're just going to lose money. Again, that means they don't give a shit about Sebastian.
I think they would release something. I could be wrong strategy-wise, but I just don't think. I mean, well, let me back that up. From that camera, it's hard because I go back and forth. I don't think that.
And then again, if you think he did wander off, then you have, again, we've done other lives where I show all the other cameras. And if you think he's literally walking around with, I mean, you might as well put an orange reflective vest on him. There's no way in hell this kid is walking around getting past all those cameras. If you think so, I'm sorry. I don't want to be mean.
That he's caught on that camera at all.
This is just frustrating me because it's like, why is this other side being stupid?
I think that covers most of the questions I had about that evening that aren't related to the things.
Okay, last part, and then we'll finish up here.
And Seth Rogers.
Okay, I just want to show this. This is just kind of the dessert.
So one thing that I've heard a lot of, and I want to get your take on it, is I've heard a lot of people say, and some people have cited you as the source for this, that there are 2 hours where Seth Rogers can't be accounted for that evening. My understanding is that there's like 20 minutes where he was on break using the restroom or something that he's not on camera, but that for the most part of that night, his alibi is confirmed.
I've never said that about Seth. And in fact, I've heard that, but I've never even tried to check with his employer or anything to see if that.
Barker, they literally said that the ones he had stripes. I literally just pulled up the thing. And there are multiple quotes. If I would have had time, I would have pulled up one of the many interviews where they literally say it multiple times. He has the Adidas, and it has the stripes coming right out of Crispy Stinkfoot's mouth. Again.
That's there was
But
a
yes,
gap. I've
you're
heard
right.
this rumor
There
for
are
gap
some
in
that
time,
don't have stripes.
But I don't believe that to be honest.
So as far as you're aware,
I'm not the source of that.
So anyway, this part right here, he's Aiden's basically saying, hey, there's rumors that, Seth was missing for, 20 minutes or something like that. Again, remember where he works at, I think it's like 2 hours away or something like that. And I think these people that think Seth had anything to do with this, I can't. I can't. Where's Carell when I need him?
They'd never be able to get me.
But let's listen to Fish Stick's last little part here, and then we'll finish up.
Source me on that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So like I said, my only goal here is setting the record straight.
No, I appreciate that you're asking the question so people know that there's some stuff's been attributed to me. People just throw things out there, and it's not true. I've never ever said that Seth was unaccounted for.
All right, gotcha.
Boom, quoted. That is on January 20th.
So another Seth issue, something that I've heard you cited on, actually is with regards to him and Katie and how their relationship began. Obviously, there's this 9-year age gap between them.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So I'm not going to play all this but if you don't know, they Aiden and him feuded about this whole age difference stuff. I don't want to get into the politics about that stuff. Obviously, any PDF person, but again, we don't. Yes. What I'm trying to point out is what he's going to say next is so absurd.
Something along those lines, but obviously
knows that can be proven, but I don't say about it. I don't want Sebastian to get lost in it. But if people,
here he goes. Here's once. He doesn't want Sebastian to get lost in the nonsense. But what is he going to do right after this show? Him and Aiden are going to go back and forth about this age thing, which has nothing to do. Decades before had nothing to do with Sebastian Rogers' disappearance, right? That's a whole separate issue. If there's something there, then I think it should be investigated. But again, we're focused on Sebastian. He even says it right here, but guess what he's going to do right after this show? He is going to go and he's going to stir up shit.
We'll just do the math just based on what he has said himself. Why can't we just find Sebastian first?
Holy hell, there's him saying it again.
Sebastian, whether he's alive or not alive, we'll tell the story of what happened, right? And so why do we have to...
So again, this came out on January 20th. Right after that, him and Aiden just went back and forth again. Like I said, if I had time, I'd pull up the tweets, but I don't want to get into the discussions. The point I'm trying to make is here is Fish Sticks trying to say we need to focus on Sebastian, and yet here he is on Twitter, and here it is, February 1st, about less than 2 weeks later. Remember, it's all about Sebastian, right? Right? Oh no, it's time for Seth Rogers to answer on national stage why he allows to exportation to continue at his son's expense. What possible justification could a father have for permitting this to happen to his own son's name? Part of this is, I think he's trying to say that he's exploiting his son for money, which again, the hypocrisy, because if anybody has made the most money, it's Fish Sticks. And we know it's just horseshit. He's just trying to get, the stories out there. But again, he just, a week prior, a little over a week prior, he's just saying, why can't we focus on Sebastian? But yet, again, this is just one tweet. I could probably pull up like 50 others. And that might be a little over-exaggeration, but I'm sure about 30 of them between that time period where it has nothing to do with Sebastian Rogers, right? So, again, clowns Had nothing. They don't care about Sebastian. It was all about the money. And again, the people that hired him, they had an agenda. Only people with... Oh, there's my boy. Oh. Sorry, I got distracted. But you guys know what I was going to say. You know, with Crispy and Kit Kat. Hiring somebody to do this kind of stuff is just so disgusting. So I'm going to end it there. I have other thing. Like I said, we've looked at some side of stuff with the surveillance Monday, and I'm going to try to do this test. And if anybody has comes across maybe some surveillance with people walking with Adidas, again, I want to do my own control test because I don't want people to say, oh, you know, I want to do my own control test. I'm going to try to do it maybe like Monday night or Tuesday night. And I know a great place to do it. And we'll see what the results are. And I'm going to try to set up some stuff. And again, all your guys' support, just being here in the chat, just at the very least hitting the like button and or chatting, has helped support this channel. Again, I know a lot of people are sadly kind of, I don't think they're purposely moving on, but it's just, you know, they kind of run out of things to talk about. And again, I don't like to repeat live stuff, you know, but I promise you I do got some more stuff, and I will be doing some tests, and these guys can't get away with what they've done, right? This will be solved. In my opinion, I think, let me know in the chat, and I'd like to know what Lakeside Lawyer, again, I don't know what your background is, but I in my personal opinion, let me know in the chat, I think Seth needs to take them to a civil suit, right? Sue the shit out of them. Expose, right? Because the only thing that comes to mind is OJ, you know, when obviously he was found not guilty, and then the Goldmans, you know, for Ron Goldman, sued OJ. And remember, they didn't need a lot of evidence. There's no jury. It's just a judge. There's not a lot to go on. It doesn't take much. And, you know, they sued him for, you know, everything, more or less. I think that should be the same thing. Sue the shit out of these stink feet. That'll expose, because obviously you got to bring evidence, right? And then from there, it's a domino effect, because then because obviously that'll be in the news, and then people are going to start to say, oh, well, especially if he could sue them and actually, you know, and get, you know, win his case, I think then people will be like, well, shit, that means that the people that are handling this case clearly effed up and are not doing shit. And then maybe there'll be an investigation, and then this case gets out of the hands and it gets into the proper hands, and that's just a domino effect. Again, that is so out of my wheelhouse. Lakeside Larry says, yeah, I think in a way, and we've seen, I know channels, and, you know, I know Seth probably isn't made of money, but he could do a GoFundMe. You know, I know they have other stuff now from GoFundMe's a little bit better. I forget what they're called. The same kind of concept, right? I think you should do that. Go do a GoFundMe or something like that. Get a good, nice lawyer and sue the ever-living shit out of them and get the ball rolling. I guarantee you from there, the dominoes will fall. The evidence is there. All they have to prove is he went in that house and never came back out, and I promise you the evidence will show. There's no way. The only person that's taken him out of that house once he went in there was you know who, right? Unless somehow, you know, he just vanished into the walls, right? But that stuff doesn't happen, right? He didn't turn into a ghost. He didn't turn into a ninja. He wasn't crawling around. He was literally, allegedly walking around with his reflective pants, and never saw on, I don't know, 20 plus very good, highly, sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Some really nice, decent, expensive Ring cameras throughout this neighborhood. Again, this neighborhood is a very, it's a very nice neighborhood, and a lot of them, again, just about every other house has a security camera, if not more than one security camera. There's no way he got out of that neighborhood. Seth is on now. That's awesome. So I'll end it there. Go check out Seth. I hope Seth is doing well. And again, I'm fighting for Seth. And of course, Sebastian. And go. And then, of course, I always have to shout out Silver's on the scene. I always try to keep his link in the description. I want to try to get him up to. Yeah, Seth is on his channel. Okay, yeah. I don't know if anyone wants a mod, if you want to put the link to that so you guys can go check that out. I don't know if you can. Oh, there you go. God bless D. I got the best mods. I do. I am spoiled with the mods I have. D, Jennifer, Sensei, Copper Horse. I always forget somebody. Shame on me, Jocelyn. So yeah, go check him out. That's perfect timing. Perfect timing. All right, guys. Yeah, go check out Seth. Go show him love and support. He needs it. And mention that to him. Mention that. Tell him, hey, get a GoFundMe going. Get a lawyer and sue the shit out of these guys, because you will win. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa B. Oh. It's not on purpose, I promise. Oh, we're going to talk about that, Lisa B. We are going to talk about that. I just didn't have enough time. Yes, it will be Monday, tomorrow. Yes, we will. God bless you, Lisa B. Holly S., thank you so much for the $1.99. Panda's Bear Mom, 6 months. That is so awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Gail Hurd, almost 2 years. Huge supporter. Keep up the good work, Chris. Thank you so much. And Lori, thank you. God bless. All right, I want to end it because, he's live and stuff. If you send me a PayPal or Venmo and I didn't thank you, I'll thank you on tomorrow. Because sometimes I don't get them. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. Yes, we're going to touch on the audio. You kind of spoiled a little bit, but yes, Lisa, great catch. That it was going to be, we'll do that Monday. All right, guys, much love. D and Jennifer, all my